Welcome to I'm Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and today we have another show lineup for y'all. Today we have a special guest, Dr. Alain Salas. He's going to share with us not just his amazing story, he's going to share with us what he's doing in this world. He has an amazing website you can check out. If you're watching us online, we'll have a ticker tape at the bottom. But if you're on radio, just stay put. We'll have in the show notes on the podcast. So first and foremost, Dr. Alain Salas, he knows the struggle firsthand. After achieving success, he has a story that you really want to just put your seatbelt on and dive in. So first and foremost, I know you've been doing some great things. You have a three-step process that will help people with clearing their mind. This system is something that we're going to dive into today. How you doing today? And let's get into it, man.
I'm doing great, Shemaya. Thank you for the introduction. I'm really very excited to share that knowledge and my story. Why not?
Before we get into that first, kind of paint the picture for the audience a little bit about your professional background, and then we'll get into today's topic.
Sure. Oh, you want me to introduce myself?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So I'm, well, first of all, you can hear an accent, right? So I live in Kansas City, Missouri, US, but I was born and raised in south of France, right? So that's the first background. And I came to this country to learn chiropractic. So I'm a chiropractic physician and I'm a mind-body specialist, not body-mind, mind-body specialist, right? And so I'm been very creative. I created my own energy technique, and also the mind clearing system that we probably talk about today, right?
Yeah. So with that being said, when you first thought about this whole process of the mind clearing system, you have a three-step process that I kind of said earlier. Kind of share with us how you were able to develop the system and just kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's a very good question, Shemaya. Like everything in life, it starts from your life experiences, right? That's why, you try to find solution for your problem, right? That's what we try to do. And so basically, just to make a long story short, what happened, I graduated school, right? And I'm married, my wife, she's a French woman. I'm in a bar and we've got a daughter, her name is Maya, right? And so, at first I started to do chiropractic and people will get better, right? And after very soon they will plateau. So I was not very pleased with that. I say, because I believe there's one thing in life for sure. If you've got a problem, it can be a problem like a health problem, a relationship problem, a prosperity problem. Any problem you've got in your life, you need to know two things in order to resolve your problem permanently. Meanings what? There's no more problem. You can move on. You don't even think about your problem. So what are those two things, right? Number one, you need to find what's causing your problem, right? Shemaya, if you don't know what's causing your problem, how can you solve it, right? That's number one. And number two, you need to know how to fix it. If you know what's causing your problem, you know how to fix it, you're done. You're good, right? And so according to this, maybe chiropractic was not, going towards to all cause of a problem, right? For health, okay? And maybe there was like also a better possibility to improve, the how to fix it. So I work on that. Chiropractic works only 20% of the nervous system. So I say, why not the other 80% and become a cranial specialist to impact the central nervous system, which is your brain and the spinal cord. I created my own energy technique and I was okay with, what I was doing on that, right? And after I noticed people will come to see me and they had like knee issue and it was like what we call inflammation, which is another word to mention chemical stress. So I started to investigate that. And if you come, Shemaya, to my office, I will use your muscle power. It's called muscle testing. And your body will let me know which organ are under stress. And again, very important, what's causing the stress, right? So, and I found out that when you supercharge your body with oxygen, miracle happen, right? And so I created different mixture, very cheap, that can increase your pH. You don't have to be on a crazy diet, alkaline diet, and spend thousands of dollars a month, right? So this was good, right? And so I made a practice of that chemical stress, actually. We used to see, like, I had 4 employees. We used to see like 250 patients a week, right? And so I teach my employer to do some of my job, right? Um, okay, so I made it. I'm leaving I'm a French guy coming like from south of France with a backpack and a suitcase, and I'm living the American dream. I got the big house, best neighborhood, got married, got a kid, got the dog, everything like picture perfect, right? But Shemaya, when you think you've got it all and you made it and everything, well, if life's got more ambition for you than you had for your own self, life will say, hold on, wait a minute, you're not done, right? This is only the starting point. And so what happened to me within a year, because I was so busy working all the time and my mind was so focused on improving, the program, and it was my mission in life, right? I thought I was doing the right thing. But here's the thing: when I was coming home after work, I was there, but I was not present, right? So my relationship with my wife went down the drain, and I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. I neglected my family, right? And so what happened? Within a year, Shemaya, I ended up divorcing. Number one. Number two, I got depressed and I was already burned out, right? And so my practice went from thriving to failing. I ended up being the only one in this office, like, a treatment room, very nice and all that, But, that's how I went down. I really went down. And after, I got sick. I got diagnosed with early stage of colon cancer. So here I am telling you what to do to prevent cancer and cardiovascular disease. And I got sick. So I had to literally redefine everything in my life, redefine my health, redefine my relationship, obviously, redefine my prosperity, and even my job, right? Because that was my job. The health was my job. So I had to really, refocus, like the theme of your show, to say the least, right? And so that's how I started to try to find some solution for my answer, because I believe in few things, and one is what we call the cause and effect. So for every cause, there's an effect, and so for every effect, there's a cause. I don't believe in chance at all, or being lucky. I don't believe in that. I believe in timing, and things like that for sure. And so, and there's one more thing that, I never been like in a victim mode. Victim mode is like basically, why me? Why this has happened to me? And you blaming. I could have blamed all my problem to my wife, I could have blamed all my problem also from the circumstances, right? Or it's because of this and this that I failed. And also my dad was, unfortunately for him, was very negative and controlling person. So of course, when you've got all that negativity, not only impact your loved one, but impact more yourself. So he got sick, and at 40 years old, he got on disability, Shemaya, and never recovered. So my dad showed me what not to do, right? Not being a victim, because people will call him and say, "Hey, Jean, how are you doing?" Right? Meanings, "Are you disease is doing?" Right? And so we say, subconsciously, and we're going to talk about that, I'm sure. So subconsciously, you make the link like, oh, if I'm sick, people are calling me, I get the love. So if I'm not sick, I'm not going to be loved, and I'm going to lose that connection. So that's why people, they can be on that loop, right? If I get sick, I'll be loved, and if I get better, nobody will love me. So I knew there was something deep within me, Shemaya, right? That pushing me to sabotage my health, to sabotage my relationship, and to sabotage my prosperity. And since then, this has been a quest to find out, and the outcome of that is the mind clearing program.
Once again, let's refocus ready and watching us online, talking to our special guest today, Dr. Alain Salas. Go to his website, themindclearing.com. I want to go deeper on the word sabotage, because when people are self-sabotaging their opportunities, their personal growth, turning the page, so to speak, from the past and embrace the present so you can make a better future. When you think about how easy it is to be in that dark cloud where you're in the funk where you can't get out, and no matter how bad you want to get out, it's almost like you can't get out until you hold the keys of, okay, how am I actually going to get better personally? Because it's easy to look at everybody and blame this person, that person, this
Exactly.
city, this city. How do you, or how did you rather, find ways to unlock yourself from that prison? Because it's so easy to get yourself caught up in there and become this very toxic person.
It is. And I have to say that I knew through my healing and my transformation, I will be able to transfer that into my client and my patient. So that gave me, that gave me more incentive. It was not all about me, if you want, right? But again, we have to find what's causing the problem, right? And so I started to investigate, because we all talk about the mind, but what is the mind? And even broader question, who are we really? That's deep you have to go sometime, right? And so of course I had like the chemical stress down, I had the physical stress down. I mean, happy with it. I'm not saying I know everything, of course not. I will never know everything, right? It's a journey, it's a path, right? But also, so I say, okay, mind body, I need to find out what's going on with my mind, right? Is it my mind who created that, or is it my mind who's sabotaging all that, right? So I started to learn some technique first to help myself, to heal from the cancer, which I did naturally, right? Which now I've got a totally another relationship. I've got 8 years old, right? And I double my income because I don't have that stupid overhead, right? And I've got results that I could never even imagine or dream of, with a patient, how I can help people now. So how come? Well, so let's take a little bit of a big deep in the mind. What is the mind, right? So, and those are information, you can Google it, you can, it's highly accessible. It's not like, oh, it's a secret that has been from the ancient, that has been passed on and all that. No, 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 no. So what is the mind? Well, Shemaya, we live in two separate worlds at the same time. So what do I mean by that? We've got what we call the outer world, right? And so it's called also the conscious mind. So it's our self-identity, our personality, who we think we are, right? And so it's our perception of reality, right? But it's also, what we are aware of, our thought, our emotions, our behavior and action, right? So that's our conscious mind. And after Shivaya, we've got a hidden, a very secretive mind, a very mysterious mind. And we're going to call it the subconscious mind. And that subconscious mind record everything you have been doing in your life, Shemaya, from age 0 to now. Also all the automatic process in your body that you don't have to think about it, like your heartbeat, your digestion, your breathing, come from your subconscious mind. All your skills as a podcaster, maybe as a father, depends what the skill you need, are stored in your subconscious mind. So I started to dig even more and more because I was intrigued. And so there's two things that I want to share with the audience that are literally mind-blowing, if I can say that. The first one, your conscious mind processes data at 11 bits per second. Your subconscious mind, Shemaya, processes data at 11 million bits per second. What does it mean? It means right now, all what I'm processing as a data, it's only 11 bits. But behind the scene, all the things that I'm not even aware, process 11 million times more, almost, right? Minus 11 times more. Isn't it crazy? I mean, so I said, wow, this is pretty powerful, right? I mean, 11 million times more. And so I started to dig more. And what I'm going to tell you, if you guys are standing up, I will advise you to sit down. If you sit down in your car, buckle up, because what I'm going to tell you is going to revolutionize the way you think about yourself and who you are. So here it is. Depends who you're reading. Your conscious mind, it's only 5 or 10% of your mind, meaning that the subconscious mind is 90 to 95% of your mind, meaning that when you focus only on your conscious mind for healing, transformation, and growth. What's about the rest? What's about the 90%? So of course, Shemaya, I thought about it and I said, oh, why not bringing the subconscious mind to the party, right? Why not using 100% of our mind power to resolve our problems? And again, can be any problem, a health problem, relationship problem, prosperity, whatever problem you've got. That's number one. And number two, what you have to know is we are all programmed. You have been programmed. I've been programmed. Everybody listening to that program have been programmed literally, right? And so, how come? How does it work? Well, let me give you an example. How it starts, right? From age 0 to like 7 years old, right? We've got different brainwave. We've got beta, we've got theta, which is very hypnotic. So imagine we're like sponges, right? And what we see, what we perceive in the outside world, we assume it's good for us. We assume that's the way it should be. So you make an assumption 1, 2 times, 3 times, it becomes a program. And those programs are stored in your subconscious mind. So you've got two kind of program. Program number one, it's programs that are serving you. It's kind of like, when you've got a good day and your mind is working for you and not against you. You say, oh man, this is very productive. I nailed it today. Life is great, right? So those are called empowering belief, right? And after you've got another program, it's kind of like when your mind that are not serving you any longer. And it's kind of like your mind is working against you. And we all have experienced that, right? Oh man, today I should have stayed in bed, right? I mean, this was a crazy day and all that, right? And so those are called limiting beliefs, right? Limiting beliefs. And those programs, they are controlling us. They are running behind the scene. And if I may, I'm going to make, because we're talking about program, I'm going to make the analogy of the mind and the computer, right? So if you compare your mind to a computer, your brain is the hard drive. Your software is your subconscious mind. Shemaya, the output of the software is your conscious mind, and your behavior is reflected on the screen of life. You ask me how I'm doing, right? If I've got a very good quality software, meaning lots of empowering belief, right? I say, oh, Shemai, I never better. Life is great. I created that technique. I cannot even believe it. And it's helping so many people. And I want to teach that all over the world because we need to be more connected to our spirit and God, right? And we need to, it's our birthright to be able to heal, to grow and transform ourselves. And the good news, we can even use that technique for ourselves and helping our loved one. Fantastic, right? But if I've got lots of limiting belief, right? You say, how are you doing, Alan? I say, oh boy, life is a struggle, I mean, I feel lonely, nobody loves me, and look at all those other people that are making it, and I just cannot, I just cannot go anywhere. I cannot reach my goal and things like that. And so why it always happened to me, right? Typical victim mode, right, by the way, right? Why me, right? And so that's when you've got lots of limiting belief, right? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I'm a visual person. So another thing I would throw in there is imagine two people walking, and as they're walking, one person is being thrown at all these blankets, if you will, say they're heavy blankets. The other person is just letting it drop. He's not allowing it to bother him or her. The other one is trying to catch every heavy blanket that comes his or her way. That's the way I see what you're saying, because a lot of times we try to carry the weight that's unnecessary. And if we continue to keep trying to carry that weight, before we know it, it's going to stall us. It's going to slow us down eventually. And I believe we will become that person that says, woe is me, because you keep catching the heavy weights and you refuse to let them go. You want to carry them to prove that you're strong enough. And sometimes it's not about proving. Sometimes it's about letting go.
Yes, totally. And those heavy blanket, there's those limiting belief. They are the one controlling us, because where are those limiting beliefs coming from, right? They're coming from our past, right? So they are like big trauma. We can, like PTSD, when you've got a big trauma, that's going to create a program. You better believe it, right? And also, as I mentioned, from 0 to 7, but we can be programmed by anything, right? I mean, by bad news, always have fear, and just created some fear program within us, right? And so let me give you an example. I think that will help your audience, right? So let's pretend there's a little girl, and the little girl has got a dad, and the dad is an alcoholic. And every night he's drunk, coming back home and beat up his wife, so her mom. What do you think that little girl, when she grows up, is going to attract as a romantic relationship, Shemaya? What do
The
you
same
think?
thing.
What kind of relationship? Yeah. So an abusive relationship, right? Probably 80, 90% of people will agree with us. I want to make two remarks on that, though. So she's a woman now, right? And so if I ask her, do you enjoy to get beat up like your mom? She's going to say, heck no. Meaning the conscious mind is going to say no, but the subconscious mind has been programmed as men are predator and women are prey. So who's winning here? Who's controlling who? Is it your subconscious mind, limiting belief, controlling your conscious mind? You know, who you think you are, right? Of course it is. And so I've got another question that comes. How she's going to attract that guy? Right? She's going to say, hey, you come here and can you beat me up? Of course, it's not going to happen that way. So it's kind of our subconscious mind are connected to each other. It's kind of, you know, some people, they say we are all one as a humanity, right? Doesn't mean you have to love everybody, of course not. But we are connected, right? So how does it work? So the subconscious mind of that woman now, right? She's going to like whisper, right? And going to say, look at this guy. He has been bullied. Now he's a bully. He's got the predator program. Oh, very attractive for you. You're going to fall in love with him. And the guy's program is going to say, look at that woman. You know, she's got the prey program. She, for her, love means that to be abused. So I'm a perfect fit. And they're going to attract each other, fall in love, right? 3 different case scenarios, Shemaya. Number 1, she married the guy, gets stuck with him for the rest of her life. We have heard, everybody have heard of such relationship, or even have, know somebody who's like that. And we say, why is she still with him? That's why. That's who's programming that on the subconscious mind, right? Now, case scenario number 2, she got involved with that guy, Shemaya, right? And after she got tired of get beaten, right? She find another relationship, maybe lots of suffering for sure. Maybe she has a kid along the way, who knows, right? And so there's 2 reactions on those women, right? She can go to case scenario number 1, right? Of course, and get on that cycle of abusing men, right? But also, those women will typically tell me this, Shemaya, and say, don't talk to me about any man. I'm done with men, and they're not good for me. So it's kind of like you've got a fire, you put your finger in the fire once and you get burned. You put your finger in the fire twice and you get burned. You say, okay, that burned, I'm done doing this, right? But also we can heal from our life experiences, of course. And so if she heals from that, she will attract somebody totally different. Somebody that's very kind to her, very supportive to her, that see her as an equal, right? And so that's how, remember the screen of life? When she see that on the screen of life, that she's attract this kind of relationship, we good. But there's no guarantee it will even happen in her lifetime. And case scenario number 3, she can come to see somebody like me, somebody that can delete step number one of the program. You delete, your limiting belief. Basically, you delete what you don't want. And step number 2, you download what you want instead. You download that into your subconscious mind. And step number 3, you want to make sure that you create that into your life. It's not staying in your head as a fantasy. You will make sure that you take the action necessary to create that into your life. And that's create. So delete, download, create. Basically, to make it super simple, okay? Delete what you don't want, download what you want instead, and manifest that into your life.
Once again, listen to I'm Refocused Radio and watching us online, talking to our guest today, Dr. Alain Salas. Go to his website, themindclearing.com. If someone's listening to this and watching what you're saying, when they are in the process of transforming what they used to believe and starting to actually embrace what they know is good for them, what is better, if you will, what are some of the signs that you've been able to see with your clients or with you personally that, wow, I'm I'm feeling a shift. It's not just like a magical thought. I'm starting to see some real progress right now, and it's looking better than what it used to.
Well, I don't know if you noticed that, but I'm a very simple and nonsense guy. So I used to say you cannot argue with result, right? And that's true. You cannot argue with result, right? And so here's the thing. When something is bothering you, right? And it's not bothering you any longer, to keep it super simple, right? This is it. When you can see it in your life, right? Because you can say, oh, yes, I've been reprogrammed. What they call, there are some people who just talk about the law of attraction, right? And the law of attraction will be basically the two phase. Phase number one, you delete and you download. But I say, who cares? You want the law of manifestation. You want to make sure that you're going to, because we are physical, we need to experience things physically. We need to take action in order to learn from life, right? So if you don't take action, it's like if you got knowledge and you don't apply it. Oh, that's fine. You've got knowledge, you don't apply it. I mean, that's crazy to me, right? And so they will see the change manifesting in their life. Whatever was that we reprogram, for example, there's a misconception, right? When you Google limiting belief, what you're going to see? You're going to see, you're not good enough, right? You are, I'm too old or too young to do this, right? And that's a part, and it's called the goal and success clearing, which is a part of my program, of the mind clearing program. And now let me ask you a question, and this may be, some people may think I'm crazy in a way, but I'm not. Do you think that your mind can create pain in your body?
Say that again.
Do you think that your mind can create pain in your body?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm gonna answer it in a way that just came to my head. I feel like eventually it can have you start doing some things because of how you're thinking.
Well, remember that woman that I got of example, she go through lots of emotional pain, right? So there's only one step to physical pain, right? Okay. So yes, because that pain loop, when, like, for example, you hurt yourself, right? And so you've got the acute phase, right? Which is, the body doing that physiology to repair everything. But after, if nobody finds solution for you, right? Your subconscious mind's going to say, oh, I cannot be helped, right? Or if you believe there's only surgery because your dad has successful surgery, you can try everything else. If you believe you need a surgery, only surgery will heal you. And they know that when they do research, Maya, what they do, double-blind study. You have heard about the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
The placebo effect? Yes. So what is the placebo effect, Shemai?
Let's say I've got in a... No, go ahead.
Yeah, I go in the study, right? And so they say, if you take that pill, no more heartburn. Okay? So I go to the study, I take the pill, no more heartburn. But they say, wait a minute, Dr. Salas, you had only a sugar pill. So the belief, right? That's how powerful our mind are. The belief that the pill will heal me did. Right? So, and it's done all over the place on the research, and they brush it off or saying, oh, this is a placebo effect. No, this is how we heal, Shimaya. This is really how we heal. This is the higher form of healing. Because everything is mind. So we change your mind, you can change the outside world. Let me give you an example. If I'm like swimming and I'm snorkeling and it's beautiful, the ocean is beautiful with a friend of mine. And we're looking at all that, right? And we get carried away and we go away and we cannot see the bottom of the ocean, right? And I didn't know my friend got panic attack, which he cannot see, the bottom of the ocean. So we were in the same environment before we truly enjoy ourselves, right? Now we are still in the same environment, but she cannot see that. And she panics and she may even drown because of a panic attack, right? But still we're in the same environment, but the fear of the mind make her have a totally different experience that she had prior and that I'm having now too. Because for me, no problem, I'm still swimming and all that. That's how our mind, our perception of reality is everything. And those limiting beliefs, those program, They are controlling us, and that's the truth. I know people, nobody likes to hear that, right? This is out of control. But the good news, if you have been programmed, you can be reprogrammed. That's the good news.
Yeah, and I like what you said because that's that's kind of what I meant earlier when I made that statement that how we're thinking can lead to what we decide to do with our choices because the
Exactly.
action doesn't come without the actual choice to do or the decision to execute whatever is going on up here. When you look at all the studies and research and firsthand knowledge and what you've been able to see, what do you believe? I mean, you already said it, but I just want to kind of push it
Sure.
down one more time.
Of
What do you
course.
believe is that turning point for an individual when they say, okay, I know what's real, I know what's not real, as far as what's going on up here?
Yes.
What is that turning point when they're finally able to get away, if you will, from those old ways and old patterns of thinking?
So, what I'm gathering from what you're saying, maybe you imply that it takes some time and there's a tipping point, right? And then when you reach that tipping point, you're good. I will say the tipping point is the treatment in the case. Because, the problem in my field, what's happening is like, you know, we're lucky enough to speak the same language. I used to travel a lot, and the frustration that I had is like when I meet a cool guy and he didn't speak my language, either French, Spanish, or English, right? And I couldn't communicate with him. That was the most frustration that I had. That's what happened. They say, oh, for your limiting belief, what you need to do, you need to journal, you need to do a ton of affirmation and all that. No, the subconscious, it's too much work, and it's not very targeted, right? To give you an idea, with a mind clearing, we treat pain 70-80% success rate within 2 visit max. And the pen can have been there forever. It doesn't matter. It's a program. So if the program is in a subconscious mind for 10 years or 1 year, it doesn't make any sense. When you delete a program, you delete, it's gone. It's not going to be active any longer, right? And so that's it. That's how you know right away that the pen is gone, right? If it comes back, it means it's called resistance, and that's become interesting. Why the pen will come back, right? If we get rid of a program. Well, it's called the resistance of healing. So it means you've got other triggers that's going to trigger that program, right? So you want to get rid of all the triggers. For example, got a neck pain in the neck. First visit, no more pain. Say, oh wow, that's fantastic. And I will tell you after treating you, I would say, Shemaya, if the pain comes back, I want you to look and to write the circumstances. Were you emotional? Did you do something? And you say, oh man, I went on my computer, I spent 2 hours, boom, the pen came back. I was in my car and I stepped in, the pen came back. So we treat that step 1, 2, and 3 for those two things. It's called resistance. And the pen after goes away. And if you've got another trigger, we'll treat it and we're done. So it just, when you speak the same language, like for example, we communicate now, if the sound goes down, I'm just going to have to do sign language, write down things. I mean, that's not going to be really convenient. I'm not going to be able to hear your beautiful voice, right? On top of this, right? And so here's the thing. When we speak the same language, it doesn't take a long time. It's right away. You understand what the other says, right? So we basically say, oh, subconscious mind, we want to delete this, right? And now we want to download this instead, and we want to make sure that we've got the tool. We're going to apply action to make sure that it's going to happen in my screen of life. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, I like that because the reason why I put it that way is because
That was a good question.
people have a difficulty and
Yeah.
sometimes making decisions. And indecision is still making decision. It's just that you're choosing not to make a decision. You're choosing not to take the necessary action to better yourself or be self-aware, however you want to spell it out. Last thought I would say before we wrap this up is
Yeah.
I say the story all the time on this show, and you can just go to our website, refocusedradio.com, to see the story. But I like telling the story of how this show came about. It was literally We had a magazine called Refocused magazine, doing the same thing, writing articles on people's lives and them being the top of their career and top of their game. But there's also moments in their lives of battles and failures and hurdles and pitfalls, but they were able to sustain from those mishaps and push forward, push through. So when I had a guy, Rico Rodriguez, shout out to him, from Rockefeller's Barbershop here in San Antonio, 2017. He was a cover on the magazine, and we just kind of chop it up and blah blah blah. And he was like, "Man, you got a voice for radio, man. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you doing?"
you do.
And we just kind of chopped it up and we just kind of joked around. And I said, "Well, I might be, able to do the podcast. Would you do it with me? I'll start it if you'd be my first guest." And he was my first guest on this show, 2017. And the reason why I say that story is because everything he's saying is real life. When we first started out with this whole program, it was just a podcast. It wasn't on radio. It wasn't on YouTube. It wasn't all around the world like it is today. But when we were in the small baby steps of this whole movement, you could imagine the dark clouds I had. You never done this before. You ain't got two mics. You're in a barbershop. All this stuff. But I say that. I say this to imagine that we have this much influence into today's time with all walks of life who touch the show. I mean, I'm talking about super rich, average, whatever that means, and everyone else. It's amazing to be able just to sit back and say, wow, imagine if we listen to those dark clouds, those voices saying that, what you're doing. This is too much work. What are you wasting time for? Who are you trying to reach? Who are you trying to, I mean, think about it. In 2017, we were worried about trying to get more than 5 listeners. Speed up to 2025. It's worldwide, thousands on thousands. And I like saying that story because I want people to be reminded whatever's going on in here is important.
It's everything.
Because you will stay in the same place and never move. And a lot of times, I mean, I had someone, it was like, I call it like angels that appear in your life. And there's a guy that was watching us in the barbershop. He made a statement after the show. I don't even know the guy. And he was like, so what are you doing? This is cute. This is nice. But what are you doing? In other words, what he's saying is, I hope you're not staying in the barbershop. Because if this is a mission, it needs to grow. And if it needs to grow, then guess who has to grow too? I have to look in there. I have to grow myself. Just yesterday, I had a CEO on, and he was talking about a lot of lack of progress is a lack of self-growth. So that would be my last pitch to you. Touch on that point when you think about self-growth and how that looks with someone who's really serious about going to the next level. And it could just be being a better person or be a better business owner, whatever your goal is. But kind of touch on that self-growth thing.
Well, that's what life is about. That's why we're on Earth. I mean, that's as simple as this. Because, we just want to better ourselves, right? And so, but what I have to say, especially in my case, is about helping others, right? I mean, I didn't tell you, but I had a calling in south of France, and I saw myself helping people, and that's why I ended up, doing what I do, right? So I'm lucky, I'm blessed, because my mission on life has been given to me. But so, it's like when we talk about retirement, right? I'm 62 years old. Actually, I turned in May 4th, 63. So it's my birthday in 2 days, right? And so there's no way I'm going to retire. I don't want to, because, you need to, like you say, that has to be your passion. When you find your passion and what you are wired to do, you've got the instrument, your voice, and after you've got the will, and you listen to your intuition, right? The intuition is the wisdom of your subconscious mind, and you just went for it, right? And sometimes we have to be a little bit crazy, right? I mean, they used to call me the gypsy in south of France. I had long hair, party. I was drunk every night. I had to come to America. When I told my parents, oh, by the way, I'm going to sell my sailing boat, and my boat business, I'm going to come to America to become a doctor. They had a good laugh, I'm telling you, but they didn't know that, I had like that calling, and when you know, you know. And of course, there's always doubt. Of course, life is always like a wave. There's ups and downs, but what makes you the individual that you are, it's how you deal with the ups and downs, right? And that's so important, right? And what can help you how to deal with that is just to get rid of this program like that. You've got much more peace of mind. Your heart start to open up, right? Because if you had any trauma that shut down your heart, right? And your heart start to open up. And after, it's so much easier to use your will to do anything that you want. It doesn't have to be difficult. And what I want to say, also, it's like, we think we're being told we're only 5 or 10% of your mind. Obviously, that guy that was in the barber shop came from higher power. Obviously, right? And so you listen to that, right? Because it did connect with your spirit, right? Because actually, we're not 5 or 10% of our mind. At conception, we are 100%. That's why there's no analytical things on a baby and all that, right? We are 100%. That's our conception right, should I say. It's not even the birth right. It's our conception right to succeed and to be able to be to thrive, right? But after you've got all those programs that are coming, that are from others, not some people around you, but also some event that happened to you, and that past, actually dictate your present and shape your future. So the only way to go is to go to the cause of a problem and have a technology, to know how to fix it, which is the mind clearing system in my case, right? Because it's very simple. You can do it. I can do it on myself. Of course, I've been doing that on myself. And after you get more mental clarity, you've got less doubt, you've got more certainty, right? And you raise your vibration, whatever you want to call that, on your consciousness, you become a better person. And after, it's so much easier to do things. But you still have the up and down of life. That's normal. That's how life is. But it's so much easier to negotiate that. So what I want to say 2 things. Things number 1, you are so much more powerful than you think. It's just crazy how powerful we are, right? Number 2, if you think that there's no hope for you, right? You at the bottom, there's no hope for you and everything. Remember the cause and effect. There's a cause and an effect. Well, the effect is like you think I'm rock bottom, right? I cannot be helped, right? Why you cannot be helped now? Because they didn't find, whoever you were asking for help, they didn't find the cause of your problem, or they don't know how to fix it. That's that simple. It's not complicated at all. If you see some psychology, you're going to talk a lot about your problem, but you're going to stay only, like if you see a therapist, you're going to stay only on that conscious mind. So 5 or 10% of your mind, right? If you use the mind clearing, you brought up over 90%, so everything goes so much faster. And you don't have, that's why it's so challenging. I can see, and that's one of those questions that you asked me. What is the tipping point? It's the treatment, right? And if you've got more resistance, we'll get rid of that, and that program is gone. The tipping point of a program not working for you is when you get rid of it, right? Does it make sense?
Oh yeah, that's perfect. And I would say for our audience, both listening on radio and watching us online, go to Dr. Alain's website, themindclearing.com. If someone wants to connect with you, I'm sure it's easy and fast, but what's some of the things that they can expect during the process?
Well, the first thing you will get if you mention, your radio show, right? What will happen? You'll get 20% of treatment, right? So it's a 1-hour treatment. Whatever you want to, if you've got some negative thought, negative emotion, some past trauma you want to resolve, some goal you want to reach, right? We get the treatment, you get 20% off. If you want to learn, because this is designed for everybody who wants to grow and transform themselves, right? And so when I got the insight of that treatment, it took me 3 years to refine it and make it as good as it is now, right? But I knew that was for individuals also, right? But also if you like a coach, or if you like a health professional, that you still can use that modality along, just to really go deep, and be able to change whatever pattern they have, like a sabotaging, like you said, sabotaging pattern, and you cannot have a result, boom, you can use mind clearing for that. And after, man, they're going to thank you for that. I guarantee you that, right? And so if you want to learn the mind clearing basic, the goal and success clearing, we already talked about that, and the body clearing. Remember, it was the pain for the pain, physical pain, inflammation, and symptom in your body. If you want to learn all those, I will give you 50% off of the entire package, right? And so if you want to get hold of me, you go to my website, click on contact, there's a form that shows up, and you write whatever you want, right? And you mention, I'm Refocused Radio, and you will get 20% off and 50% off. And I'm going to have to say, we can talk about that forever. I really enjoy our conversation, by the way. But we can talk about forever. So knowledge is very good, right? But you have to act on it. Remember, we talk about that, right? Because true knowledge is when you experience it. Because the knowledge in your head is still in your head. When you experience it, you've got that action. You've got also that manifestation that happened, and you will totally comprehend what I'm telling you. Because I know it sounds maybe too good to be true to you, right? But give it a shot, you'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll leave it there. Once again, been great time talking to our guest today. You can go to Dr. Allen's website. It's themindclearing.com. Make sure you connect with him. Make sure you use this show as a way to get a quick discount on what he's offering. So don't forget to let him know how you got to his website. Like always, to you, I want to say not just thank you for your amazing wisdom on the show today, but like always, thank you for your time, man.